I was nervous but super excited. I kind of knew that the Rossi family had to be incredibly close and get on really well. So I was kind of worried that there might be a tiny bit of a language barrier. But then the minute I met Marley, Troy, and Daniel, we just immediately clicked. We kind of were the Rossis. And they kind of took me under their wing and really helped me grow with my ASL. And we just all had such fun. So I was nervous, but then when I met them, and they helped me, and they were so kind and welcoming and positive, and they gave me kind of confidence with my ASL. Then all my nerves just went away from the minute I met them. I didn't really know much about ASL, so I was kind of a little bit nervous going into it because I'd never done a film that wasn't, my first language. But I actually adored it. I prefer it, honestly. I think it's such an amazing way to connect to what you're saying. And I honestly think it's the most beautiful language. I hope when people watch it that they want to learn more too. But it was a great way to act because it was so different to what I had done before. I mean, as I said before, I kind of would maybe in other projects like not do a lot with my face and kind of keep it in my eyes, or whereas this was so, like, if you're signing big or small, like big, it's like, I thought going into it would be like big, but you have to be like you have to show how big it is. And you have to show how small it is. And I think it was a challenge because I wasn't used to having to do a lot on screen. So that was different. That was a challenge, but I love a challenge. Name signs are such an honor because you can only be given a name sign by a deaf person. So Marley had come up with a name sign for me, and she talked to Troy and Daniel, and they all agreed. And name signs are basically something about yourself. For instance, if you have curly hair and your name is Claire, it's like you would maybe have a C and have, showing that you have curly hair or whatever. So it has to be specific to you, but you can only be given it after they've really got to know you. So for a long time at the beginning of the shoot, I was kind of just like, Emilia, this is E in sign language, and they would just kind of talk and E. And then Marley was like, no, we need a better one. And so they then came up with, obviously, so this is E, and they said that I have kind eyes and like animated eyes. So it's like an E, but like eyelashes. So I was delighted. It's like, oh my God, I love it. I also think it's a really great film to watch in the times that we're in right now. It's uplifting. It makes you feel loads, but it also makes you laugh out loud. And it's kind of like, I think as you said before, it's like a love letter to family. And I think because of these situations, the pandemic has really forced people to reconnect with their loved ones and people that they're close with. And so I think people will relate to that. But I just hope that people enjoy the film as much as we enjoyed making it, because a lot of heart and feeling went into this film. CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults, and Ruby's a CODA. It's both. It's a blessing, but it's also, they're kind of part of two worlds, but don't really feel like they belong to either. And I think it's hard. Ruby's the only hearing person in her family, and I think sometimes she can feel a bit excluded or wish that she was like them. But then, she's lucky in other ways, and I think it's kind of this mixed emotion for CODAs. I think they've been given this skill, so they feel lucky, but it's also hard on them. I'd never really had a singing lesson before. I was always singing, and I love singing, but it was never something I had done professionally. And also I had auditioned with Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, just this little cover on my guitar. It was really quiet and delicate. And then suddenly I went to my first singing lesson, and they were like, here's some Etta James for you. I was like, sorry, what? Which kind of was a bit daunting. And then turning up on set, and I met with Nick Baxter and Marius, the music producers, and they were like, yeah, so most of the choir are from Berkeley. I was like, okay, okay, so Mr. V picks me, and okay, which was also really daunting. I remember I was nervous for my first day because the first ever scene I did was me singing. But then a couple of the crew members were very lovely after and just walked past me, and I'd never met them before. And they were like, wow, you can sing. And I was like, well, if they think that, then hopefully people watching it will. I was grateful that most of the singing, like all of the singing, was live on set, because again, it's like Troy would, in one of the takes, he was like, more, louder, and I didn't know he was going to do that, and so then I had to sing louder, and it was a great scene to do because so much changed on the day, and it was kind of, we were living it. And I was trying so hard to kind of give him as much as I could.